So I know that Puddle of Mudd is an American, well, is considered to be an American post-grunge band from, you guys are from Kansas City, Missouri originally?
Well, kind of. I mean, the band's been around in different incarnations. We're from all over the place, and Wes is actually from Kansas City, but, you know, I'm from Florida, Doug's from Boston, and we all met up in L.A., kind of, you know, chasing the same dream. Everybody moved out there, and everybody lives in L.A. now except for me. I actually moved back to Florida once we got going on our first record, got our deal, and recorded that. I had no reason to be in L.A. anymore, so I went back to Jackson.
Yeah, Jacksonville's nice. I actually used to live around there, so I know.
Oh, yeah?
It's beautiful. Yeah, the beach, well, actually, Panama City, Florida was where I was, and the beaches are beautiful there, gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, Panama City beaches are better than Jacksonville. I mean, Jacksonville Beach, I live in Jacksonville Beach, and that's home, but yeah, Panama City's awesome.
Oh, very cool. So I know that your band name was originally inspired by the Missouri River flood, which when you guys showed up to practice one day, there was a big puddle of mud in your practice space.
Yeah, it's pretty literal. I always wish we had like a better story. We were just like, no, just flooded everything, and the whole practice room was basically a puddle of mud, so it became the Puddle of Mud rehearsal space, and then for lack of being creative enough on the band names, we were stuck with that one, and it's still with us today. Sometimes I think about it, I'm like, man, we're called Puddle of Mud? How did that happen? But it's been around so long now that I don't think it really matters. I don't think anybody even thinks about it literally anymore, you know? Same.
I know that you also have several songs that have been used for WWE, so I was wondering if you guys are like a fan of WWE and wrestling, or...
Well, I tell you, I mean, growing up, I know that, like, you know, all of us were. I don't think any of us really are, like, super into it now. I mean, growing up, it was, like, my Saturday, that was it. When you know, I had satellite, like, when you had the big actual satellite dish in your yard, and you could find wrestling, like, all day long on Saturday, and I would just sit there and, you know, and watch it all day long, and I had all the action figures and the T-shirts and all that, so it was definitely a big part of my life. I was a Hulkamaniac, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, you were definitely a big fan then, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that your song, your band song, Shook Up the World, was originally written for Team USA to use in the 2010 Winter Olympics, and that you plan to have proceeds from the song to go to Team USA. What inspired that, to do that?
Well, we got approached by AT&T. They were kind of the ones that were sponsoring the whole thing, and they approached us, and you know, luckily we were included in the people that they thought of, and they just said, hey, you know, I mean, would you like to record a song, and we're going to put out a soundtrack CD that's going to be available on iTunes that's going to benefit Team USA, you know, as far as, you know, getting them everything they need to go and compete in the Winter Olympics, and we were like, sure, that's great. You know, we'd be honored to do that, you know, and back the country and the Winter Olympics. So we went and recorded the song, and yeah, it was on iTunes, and the whole time during the Olympics, it was anything that was sold from either our single or the whole soundtrack record, it all went to them. We didn't see a dime from it, so it was just, you know, just something cool to be able to do and support.
That's very patriotic, actually. That's awesome that you're supporting them so much, and I'm sure that they appreciate it too. I also love how the song "Shook Up the World" starts. It's beautiful. Is it a violin that it starts with, or?
That's actually, that's the first time we've ever done that. I mean, we've had songs that you know, maybe have strings accompanying it, but most of the time it's really keyboards that sound like strings, you know, like violins and cellos and stuff like that. This time we actually got a real guy to do it, and it's crazy. He does all of it himself. Like, it's not like a whole orchestra, it's just him, and he multi-tracks it. So we basically just gave him the song, and we're like, hey, you know, go to town. And we were like, we think it might be cool if you had like a whole little
gorgeous. I loved the way it started. It was just very different and unique and beautiful. Haunted.
Yeah, it was something different for us. But you know, we were thinking epic, or like, you know, the Olympics. You know, it's got can have that like that Rocky theme kind of thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now your new album, Volume 4, which is titled Songs in the Key of Love and Hate, is available directly from your website, and that also features your exclusive bonus track, Shook Up the World. I was just wondering, how did you come up with the title for that new album, Songs in the Key of Love and Hate?
The Volume 4 was easy because it's our fourth record, and then we were kind of like, it was like deadline time, and we were sitting around and had a day off somewhere and just sitting around in a bar trying to come up with a title, and manager's like, all right, like, you got a few hours, or like, literally your record's not going to come out, so figure it out. So I've always kind of been fascinated with, like, the love and hate, just the yin and yang of it, and how you have to have one to have the other, yet they're so completely different, and I just think they're like two of the most powerful words that we have in the language. So I knew that I somehow wanted to incorporate that into the title. And then I was listening, you know, we were listening to the record, and I was like, well, you know, we write about such everyday things, and pretty much everything in your life is guided by either love or hate, and your love for something or your hate for something or your dislike for something or whatnot. And I started listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, well, that's pretty much what it is. We have, like, you know, we got love songs, and we got songs that are a little angrier and maybe not as happy or whatnot. And I was like, so kind of makes sense. So I was like, oh, songs, and then it just kind of came together from there.
That's very cool. So you were mainly responsible, or you all sort of just came up with it?
That one in particular I came up with. That was me. So.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad I asked about it.
You got approval from the rest of the band, so we were all involved.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, no, but I was just curious, you know, what inspired it and who, you know, whose idea.
Yeah, well, like I said, I wanted to have love and hate. I wanted to use it somehow, and it just kind of came to me. So Volume
5 will be Yin and Yang, Songs in the Key.
Yeah, maybe Volume 5 will be Yin and Yang.
And only if you're about to hit that deadline, right, and you're in a bar.
Yeah, exactly. We can't think of anything else. Like, all right.
Let's come up with it. You're like, wait, I've got it. Quick.
Exactly.